So, welcome to part four, and we're going to be discussing what is the correlation between inflation, deflation, and currency value. So, the relationship between inflation, deflation, and currency value is real but context dependent. Here's a clear breakdown of the typical correlations plus when they break down. So, high inflation leads to currency weakness usually. And the reason why is because it erodes purchasing power. So, investors and consumers lose confidence in the currency's value. It also reduces real yields. So, if nominal rates don't rise fast enough, real interest rates go negative, therefore, capital outflows. So, to kind of explain that a little bit more, when it says nominal rates, let's say that's the interest rate. And let's say, for example, the interest rate is 2%. And let's say inflation is at 3%. Inflation, as we know, means that the currency is being devalued. Interest rates are the cost of borrowing and lending money. So let's say, for example, you're getting a return of 2% interest rate, but inflation is at 3%. Actually, real interest rates are negative. So real interest rates go negative, therefore capital outflows, because there's more depreciation than you're getting in return on your interest rate, right? So by about 1%, if interest rates are at 2% and inflation is at 3%. So that's negative real interest rates. So then investors are losing money, so then they will go and put their money into something else. If interest rates are higher than inflation, then real yields would be positive, or real interest rates will be positive. So, expectations of central bank lagging. So, if the central bank is behind the curve, currency can fall as inflation rises. So, if the central bank may be wrong on their forecast with inflation, or they're seen as sitting on their hands a little bit too long, and holding for a bit too long, and inflation gets out of control, then that will lead to currency weakness. And if, of course, if inflation is rising and the central bank kind of does nothing or holds a bit too long, so they're behind the curve, they don't anticipate inflation going above 2%, or if they do, then maybe they get it wrong in terms of their forecast, and maybe inflation goes a lot higher than what they were forecasting. Now, inflation and currency value. But if the central bank responds aggressively with rate hikes, a currency can strengthen despite inflation. So, an example of that is around 2021, 2022, US inflation surged and the dollar strengthened due to aggressive Fed hikes. And Turkey had high inflation with a weak policy response, and Turkish lira collapsed. So we'll look at the US inflation surged. So we'll see here that you have inflation on the top here, you have interest rates here, and then you have the dollar equally weighted index against various currencies right here. And what you'll see is that over 2021 into 2022, you see that inflation really kind of managed to go way above that 2%, that 2% target. So that's a wonky line. As it started, rising, the Federal Reserve started to hike aggressively. Now, they still had negative real yields because inflation was above the interest rates, but in comparison to the other central banks who were also going through the same high inflation, the US dollar was seen as the outperformer, even though real yields were negative. They were negative across the board, which led to basically a dog with the least fleas situation. So who was the best of the worst? Who had the least negative real yields? And that turned out to be the dollar. So the market thought, where should I put my money? The dollar is still the best place when you looked around, as they had the least real yields. So that's really the example there. So deflation. So when a currency strengthens, and this happens often, it's not all the time, right? But when we get deflation, currency strengthens, and the reason why is because real rates rise. So if inflation drops but nominal rates stay constant, real rates rise, and this attracts capital. So again, if you have an interest rate of say 2%, but inflation is at 1% and is going to maybe zero or even into the negative, then that means that real yields and real interest rates are actually strengthening. Therefore, um, that will attract demand, right? That will attract demand because your currency and the rate of return is actually getting is increasing. And you have safe haven demand. So countries experiencing deflation, for example, the Japanese yen, not anymore, but they were, and Swiss franc, which is still currently are to a certain degree, are often seen as stable. So inflows support currencies, and then we have lower domestic spending, so trade surpluses as well. So deflationary environments often lead to current account surpluses, which supports the currency. And here's an example of again the US in 20 over 2014, 2015. So we had a situation where this was the inflation. So inflation started to deflate, right? So disinflation, deflation. It fell from 2% to basically zero or close to zero or just below zero, right? So that was deflation. Yet the Federal Reserve were holding rates. Yeah. So they weren't necessarily hiking rates. And as deflation started to occur, where the currency gets more expensive, you're seeing that start to occur. Now, if they started to cut rates, the Federal Reserve started to cut rates, this would have done the opposite in terms of the dollar appreciating or depreciating. But without interest rates being hiked, sorry, without interest rates being cut to counter an expensive currency, you had the dollar actually appreciate overall. Now, again, but if deflation triggers a recession and the central bank cuts aggressively or prints money, the currency can weaken. So, again, deflation can trigger a recession. And if it does, and the central bank reacts by cutting interest rates, then the currency can weaken. So, in summary, we have if inflation rises with weak policy would mean maybe just holding rates a bit too long, then the currency is likely, the typical impact is likely to have the currency devalue. And the reason why is because it erodes value and weak real yields, right? So again, real yields is interest rates minus inflation. So if inflation rises, but with a hawkish policy, the currency typically will move to the upside, it will appreciate. And this is because rate hikes attract capital. If we have deflation or disinflation is just the move from inflation, an inflationary environment, or the transition between inflation to deflation. So as inflation moves down, it's known as disinflation until we get to below that 2% level, and then it's considered, I guess, deflation. So if we get deflation or disinflation, then the currency typically will appreciate, and this is due to higher real yields and safe haven flows. But if we get deflation but aggressive easing, then the currency will likely devalue as we have policy divergence and weaker yields. And actually, in fact, policy divergence just basically means that, of course, with deflation, which is appreciating currency, you've got the central bank who is cutting rates, which actually means that they are trying to weaken the currency to counter an expensive currency, which is basically the divergence, right? That's what they're talking about in terms of policy divergence. But also, as well, policy divergence could mean that maybe if one currency is holding rates but one is cutting rates, then that would also mean a policy divergence, or one central bank is hiking rates, another central bank is cutting rates, then that would mean policy divergence, in terms of, one is trying to appreciate their currency by hiking rates, and one central bank is trying to cut rates and devalue their currency by cutting rates. Therefore, you've got a divergence in policy. So a real world example would be Japan. So you've got long term deflation or low inflation, so a strong yen and safe haven flows. So typically that was what was happening with Japan. You've got Turkey, Argentina, high inflation, weak policy, and rapid currency depreciation. And the US in 2022 had high inflation, Fed hikes, and so the dollar surged. And we covered that in one of the previous slides, but I want to talk about, or want to show you the yen. So when it came to the Japanese yen, what we had was Japanese inflation at the top, right, and then we had actually deflation start to occur. So during 2015 to 2016, what we had was deflation, right? So prices went from 0.4 to the negative. Now, although we had a rate cut here for throughout 2016 and 2017, we had a constant hold. So from February, where we had inflation go from, or deflation go from 0.2% around there to about minus 4%, that was deflation. And what you got during that period, in fact, was that deflationary environment. Of course, deflation, we know, leads to an appreciating currency. And then we started to get inflation, right, go from the negative to the positive. And inflation is designed, or say designed, but it typically devalues the currency, right? And so that's what we were getting there. And remember, we didn't have any kind of rate hikes within that environment. So you can see when inflation started to rise, then we had a devaluation eventual within that currency, with no central bank policy to kind of intervene in that. So while inflation typically weakens a currency and deflation strengthens it, the central bank's response is what often determines the direction and magnitude of currency moves. And in our next video, we'll be talking about, why does inflation affect interest rates?